Greetings, galore. Today I've so much psych.
Yeah, I'm wondering why.
This is SME Unleashed. My name is Dr. Edwin Obonyo from Strathmore Centre for Value Investing.
And this is Raymond Mutura from the Centre for Research on Organizations, Work and Family.
That yours is so long. And today we have a guest. His name?
And I'm Mr. Kelvin Kanyotu, OMP alumni and an entrepreneur. And I'm great and I love being here just to talk about business.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I guess, we start high pitch.
Yeah.
Who's the man behind the mic today?
That's a very interesting question. It's so simplistic yet so complex. Who's the man behind the mic? Okay, so this man is a 46-year-old man, born and bred in Nairobi, Kenya. I've lived most of my life in the city.
This one, the main one.
This one, city, this is Nairobi city.
There are four more.
Yeah,
how many? Three?
There's also
You have to count Eldoret,
city.
of course.
Eldoret has been allowed.
Yeah. But
It's just that we were to begin to take it back.
Yeah.
Send it back.
Yeah, but in all terms and purposes, Nairobi City. Kisumu is also has been in the lips of many people recently. So it's Nairobi City to be precise.
Yeah.
And a third born, a family of four. My mom was a nurse. My dad has been an entrepreneur and a media practitioner, a music producer, and I come from a family that embraces entertainment, music, communication. I believe all my siblings and even my children will be taking after us. So we're in the media entertainment space as well.
Yeah. Which entertainment? The one of singing or the one of DJing or which one?
Acting.
So it's the one of music and producing music, the one of producing film, of content creation. So multimedia.
Really?
Yeah, multimedia. Yeah. Soon to get into making films.
Oh man, film.
So this is films,
family-centric films.
not TV shows, just films.
I produced TV shows at some point, some years ago. I produced TV shows for DSTV and for local stations. That was before the disruption of digital. It was before 2015. Yeah.
So the disruption made you stop.
The disruption changed our
things.
approach. Yes, which I think we'll discuss more about that. Yeah, it changed things because now we are in the ship sailed. The TV programming space has that ship sailed. Where I used to sit down and remember growing up. I don't know how old you are, Dr. Obonyo, but growing up
a young man doesn't know much.
In the 70s and 80s.
Just caring as a doctor, but it's just too young.
Provided I'm not a Gen Z.
You're not a Gen Z. But anyway, Dr. growing up, at least in my formative years growing up, before being a teenager, we were being programmed on what to watch. We were being shown what to watch. We had one TV station, one radio station with the substations which used to come in once in a while and say, Voice of Kenya.
VOK. It was called. That started at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they had substrata stations where, you wake up one morning, you listen to Masai, another day it's Kipsigis. It's the same station, but it's broken down to substations. So coming from that time, to a time when then we had a duopoly, it was KTN and KBC that time in the 80s and 90s. KTN came early 90s. And then coming to a place where, radio stations were being registered by the then CCK. In the early 2000s, actually when we hit 2000, then we had around maybe 100 radio stations. But maybe around 4 TV stations. There was KTN, Nation, Citizen TV, and KBC. And then comes now this disruption where there was a digital era. The government said, now we're going to start having digital TV and digital radio stations.
That concept was called liberalize airwaves.
Liberalize airwaves.
Yes.
which came in a tad too late.
we were late as a country.
As a country, because many other countries had already switched.
quite ahead.
Went ahead.
Because it was a Matiang'i one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a
The one
Matiang'i
who
era.
said,
Yeah, yeah.
couldn't, or
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so let's go back a bit. You said your father was an entrepreneur. Did you work for him, or did you learn anything?
So
from him?
I did not work for him. My elder brothers worked for him.
Oh,
So what happened was that it was the era where you finish your KCSE Form 4, and then there's what to do. There's a gap year before you go to campus. So my two elder brothers, who were also superb media practitioners, sound engineers, and music producers, ended up working for him at a studio in River Road called Studio Sour Sound, which had been producing local music, Kikuyu Benga, Luo Benga, Kamba Benga, since the 80s. And was a prominent brand in the 90s, and all the big
So Kamaru
musicians.
was recorded there. Or
Kamaru was one of the musicians, Peter Kigia, the gospel
Peter
musicians,
Kigia.
Esther Wahome, and Ben Githai, the IFC choir with Mary Ateno, and numerous Tanzanian choirs, the Luo Benga musicians, Nadio Misiani, and Maroon Commandos, name it. I mean, all these huge names. And younger musicians who came and
none of our students
yeah.
know those names.
yeah, they don't know. those
Maroon
names.
Commandos, maybe. Because you see,
Gen
Maroon
Z.
Commandos is always the army band, isn't it? It's the
It's the
army.
army band, yeah.
Yeah,
it's the
so
army
that one
band.
is always
You need a
relevant.
sample of just 10 Gen Zs here. They'll tell me they know Maroon Command.
They will know Maroon
They will
Commandos.
know. They will know. There's
No,
a
it's
there's a
very-
trend of this TikTok dances where they fuse old
No,
and
but
modern
The
music.
good thing is we can always do this test. Once this session is over, I have a class to go to. I'll just ask them. Then,
Yeah.
raise your hand if you know Maroon Commando.
I'm sure a few would know. Yeah, but many would know Camaro and Demedio because they go clubbing and they listen to all these people.
Do you know Demedio?
No way.
Yeah, all those names.
No way. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So it was a recording studio.
it was a recording studio in River Road.
So that means you had all these things of making sure sound
Yeah, the
is
studio
properly.
like this is also now this doesn't have any music connection, but it was a bit bigger than this, more technical oriented. We used to have this music reels to track recording and digital recording, which I'm sure the guys behind these mics they would understand. So for myself, that was the trend, our family. Clear Form 4, then go to dad's business. So I went in briefly, and then I loved reading. So by August, after the first year of completing school, I was in university. I went to Catholic University. I was studying marketing and communication, a bachelor degree. But during the holidays, I ended up going on an internship. And my first big internship was in a studio like this one, working with Ruben Kigame. And so it was Ruben Kigame, who's a popular musician, who has proved to us that being blind is not an inability. Has coiled music that we sing in on national level. We walk in every church, every spiritual space. There's a Ruben Kigame, including funerals. So I worked with him when I was in my third year in campus for about 1.5 months. Then I finished my campus in fourth year, and then went back to him and worked for a year. So he had a recording studio and used to do a podcast like this called Word of Truth Ministries. So it was just recording messages around apologetics, defending the Christian faith. And then he went on to start a radio station in Nakuru, and we parted ways. And then I got an internship at KTN. I'd been applying because that's a time when you've cleared school and applying everywhere. So you have parents telling you, why don't you try banking also? So I applied to a few banks, got an interview at Citibank. And by that, I passed very well in my campus. So I was called in for an interview on Citibank on a Wednesday morning. And then KTN called me on a Wednesday afternoon the same day. And I was like, there must be a reason why this media thing is following me, because I'd applied to all media stations. My dad was in VOK at that time, retired to start a business. And I was like, okay, let me make a choice here. My heart leaned more into KTN. And many of my friends were like, how can you foil a Citibank interview? Kenya Television Network.
Oh, okay. I forgot it.
Yeah, and that was 2003. 2002, 2003, when KTN was KTN. Yeah, that was a prestigious place to work in. Prestigious media because, there was only one other bigger station, which was KBC. Nation at that time was also there. But KTN was there was a voice. It was a cool place to work. So I went there, did my interview, and I was put in a department called the commercial department, which was responsible for looking for money.
Business.
Sales. Rigorous. Very tedious department, but it was the heartbeat of the station, because without any airtime selling, all those guys behind the mic would not be paid, the engineers, and all that. So, so I went in there. It was a shocker for me, but it was being dipped from a nice space working for Kigame in a nice studio to the streets of Nairobi, going and saying, you guys need to advertise, walking from institution to institution, the industrial area, walking the streets of Nairobi to businesses, Asian-owned, Kikuyu-owned, River Road businesses. That time there were not many Somali-owned businesses in Nairobi, by the way. Yeah, but
that's a new phenomenon.
It's a new phenomenon. Yeah, but worked there for 3 years in that position. Excelled. At that time, I think KTN was a powerful house. And then I got called by Mr. S.K. Masharia. This was Radio, Citizen, and Citizen TV.
And they were beginning.
Yeah, they were rebranding.
They were rebranding.
Yes, so we had a former guy who used to work with us in the editorial called Washira Waroro, who was headhunted. And I went in to become the CEO in 2005. And 2006-7, about 2007, I was called in as well. I was poached with a number of managers to go and head now a team in marketing and sales.
Yeah, I'm curious why you never leaned towards a family business.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Of course, Edwin, I have to ask this question.
Yeah.
He's here. There's no problem.
It's interesting you asked that, by the way. So the business was already running. The business had actually been paying our school fees. My dad was that was actually his prime, and my elder brothers were already in it. Now, I'm more of a marketing person, more of someone who speaks, more of a proposal guy, more of a salesperson. But that business was mostly a technical business at that time. So I don't think I found...
there was no marketing and sales component to it?
That business sold itself. It was a working business. And then we were focusing on
kind of like a monopoly of some sort.
Yeah.
So word of mouth among musicians.
I don't think the business really needed to market itself. When a good brand and a reputation. Remember, this has been a brand house from 80s. When there were maybe there was a government studio, and maybe the other studio was European-owned studios, the Polygrams, Betty Tet, I think it was Butamugo. Their family used to own a studio. Andrew Crawford, which was a European-owned. So it was a time when there were few players. I don't know what principle you call that, my learned friends. When you have few players and a very difficult validated. You can't
whatever
enter.
to enter.
So that's high
What do you call whatever to enter?
barriers to entry.
Barriers
So that's
to
high
entry.
barriers.
Yeah, barriers to entry.
Because you have to invest a lot of equipment.
Which is the opposite now with the music now.
Music equipment was expensive.
Now it's low barriers.
Now it's no barrier because now technology, everybody owns a computer and there are softwares.
And they
At that
are-
time, we were softwares, but they were expensive, but most of it was hardware. Yeah, so that's to answer your question. Yeah, I did find
The
my
skills-
place really there. The skill,
It's a mismatch.
there's a mismatch. But later on, and right now, there's a place for me. Because what is
Wait,
happening?
It's still your brothers are still in it.
My father and my brother, my father turned 80 this year. And he's still in it.
Oh, he's still in the business.
Still in the business. My elder brother, our firstborn, is in it. Our secondborn is in the one who I follow is in a similar business, but he's in the space of entertaining people in the supermarkets. So when you enter the supermarket, there's this music and these adverts you hear. So whether it's a restaurant like Art Cafe or Carrefour or Total petrol station, whatever it is. So he has a radio service called Pop Radio, which handles that. I went into advertising. So years later, when I finished, I had an early retirement. I resigned from Citizen. If you remember,
By
in
the time you were
2000
joining, 2007, it was hot.
Yeah, it was
And
hot.
at some point, something happened, I think, in Citizen.
Something happened in the nation. Around 2008-9, there was a post-election PEV.
Yeah.
There was an election, the PEV happened. And there was this thing of this media station carries this voice and this other media station carries the other voice. Yeah, so there was a disruption somewhat in terms of allegiance of who listens to what station. It was happening at that time. The station I was working on was also accused of one of the radio stations fueling, hate speech.
Yeah.
In the Rift Valley at that time. So there's that. So we went through that. It was a difficult time. In 2009, I resigned. I felt I needed to be in a business. I needed to do business. I needed to be in a place where I can commandeer my time. I had a young family. I was married 3 years at that time. With a firstborn girl who came in and was like, I need to spend time with this girl because this career choice that I've made, media is beautiful, it's lovely, it was well paying, but at that time I felt I need to focus on my family and I need an outlet somewhere. I need somewhere that will help me commandeer my own time. So I went into entrepreneurship without knowing what that is. The only example that I had was my dad's studio and his friends who used to run stable businesses out there that I could not really relate to because I felt like someone who owns a bank was really too far. They like the Jim Nambaros, so people they grew up with in the village. And my dad would say, hey, you have to do business, those are the businessmen you need to
align
with. And so I felt like those yardsticks were too ahead, the equity chairman. It was like, these are people you grew up with in the village, but when I look at them, I'm like, will I ever be that,
You started what?
I started an advertising agency because I'd been doing advertising and helping corporates communicate about their products and services. So I felt maybe I can do that for myself. Where I can actually help them create messages for them on radio, on TV, whichever platform, but basically just get their media budget and start dictating how they'll communicate out there. That was a rough start. No one ever taught me that. I'd seen these businesses doing that, but advertising agencies were also prestigious businesses at that time. And so I said an advertising agency without having worked in one, but I used to connect a lot with them in my media career, because when they want to advertise, they used to come to the executives and we come up with a plan, we negotiate, give them airtime, run the orders and the advertising. This is now radio, TV, or newspaper, depending on which media. At some point, Citizen TV used to own a newspaper. I didn't know they knew that.
It was called Citizen. No, what was it called?
The one in green. Citizen, the one in green.
Yeah,
It was
think
not called
so.
Citizen. I can't remember, but there was a name. There's a name. It didn't last too long. Maybe 3 years.
The ones who maintained is NMG.
NMG, yes.
Well, NMG was created as a newspaper before.
Before it went to radio.
Yeah.
Before it went to radio
Yeah.
TV. Okay.
and TV. Standard Group, Standard newspaper was the first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting
Yeah.
story so far. We are going for a short break. This is SME Unleashed. My name is Dr. Edwin Obonyo from SCVI.
And Raymond Mutura from CROF. Does that make it easier? It's simpler, shorter.
Unaweza sema pia hiyo organizations work in family.
Yeah, we want to know what Crawford
And our
is.
guest,
And our guest,
Kelvin Kanyotu.
David Kanyotu.
Kelvin.
Kevin.
Kelvin Kanyotu.
Welcome back, listeners. This is SME Unleashed. My name is Dr. Edwin Obonyo from SCVI.
And this is Raymond Mutura from CROF.
And our guest.
Yeah, Kelvin Kanyotu. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the composition.
That's fantastic.
So do people call you KK?
He used to call me Triple K.
the
Oh.
other
I have
side of-
another name called Kamau.
Also, you're triple K.
Yes. I'm Triple K.
At least the
K3.
good thing is, at least in Africa, we cannot confuse that with anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people have kind of settled down just to call me Kanyotu.
Kanyotu.
Yeah, which confuses me with a mighty man who once lived in this land called Kanyotu.
Who Dr. Obonyo does not know. You better do your
I
homework.
mean, you can tell me who he was. Learning is a daily thing.
Well, you would learn. But he was what was he exactly? Was he
He was a chief of intelligence.
chief of intelligence in Kenyatta's time?
Chief of special branch. Was
The guy I know is Shaw. That's the only guy.
So Shaw worked for him, I think. Yeah?
Yeah.
Shaw worked for him. So he was the boss.
Of Shaw.
I think he was trained by Shaw.
See.
He was trained by Shaw, but he was still the boss.
So, okay.
Yeah, Shaw was there in the 80s, 70s actually. Yes.
So, you've just told us about your journey in the previous section, how you started your advertising company in 2009, because you felt, having worked in the radios, having worked in media, then it could translate, but you had never worked in an advertising agency.
Yeah.
I guess the question for me is, for the listeners, what would the advice you give them when they're starting a company in a space they don't understand?
Okay. So one of the first things that I did in 2010, thereabout, I attended a course by a former high school mate who had started something called the Great Business Club. It's called Mr. Joram Wainamo. So I was in Nairobi school with him.
Who?
Joram Wainamo.
Now he's in the other.
So now he's
Sandbox.
running, he's the founder of Sandbox.
Yeah.
Oh, Sandbox, yeah.
Yeah, so he had a 6-month course that taught people how to do business. So I figured out he was starting up. So I was his first student. And that course really helped me because I discovered now you can run any business. So I think my issue was not really understanding how to run an advertising agency because I had seen it. I had seen the model. I had seen how it works. My problem was the basics of running a business. That is what a sustainable business, not just a business. So this 6 months taught me how to, how to keep good books of accounts, how to develop a good brand, how to be able to articulate what you do and the services and who you're helping and how you adding value to this world, this Kenya, this Africa. So that took me through shaping that, crafting that, molding that. And in the end of the 6 months, I had something that I could say was good to sell. So I had a company called Suave Media. And Suave Media at that time, Suave Media was S-U-A-V-E. Suave.
Suave.
Cool, yeah. Suave. So Suave Media was, I registered a business name and, the KRA pin and all that. And Suave Media was positioned to help companies create portfolios for themselves to be able to communicate with their customers in a better way. So when I say portfolios, is like, everything from just the branding portfolio. Who are you? Why do you do what you do? Yes, it's good in writing, but how do you visualize it? So I was helping companies, medium-sized companies and manufacturers, because now I had a bent towards manufacturing, because in my media career, I actually collaborated and dealt with a lot of these local manufacturers. And I'm saying FMCG, Asian brothers most of them run these businesses. So that is what ushered me into now going back to some of these clients I used to speak to, new clients. And it took me about 3 months before I could get any check or any signed thing into the company after rigorous marketing. But whatever I got as my first check was actually an accidental job. So someone who was in media, one of these media houses, called me and told me, oh, there's this thing called Brand Kenya that has been put together to market our country. And next week they are going to South Africa to sell Kenya. And they need a tool. I heard you guys used to have a studio somewhere in River Road. And I was thinking of doing a voiceover. Can I send you to the CEO of Brand Kenya? At that time, a lady called Mary Kamore. So I was like, okay, yeah. So I called this lady and I told me, yeah. We urgently need 10 radio commercials to be produced. We don't know what to say. We'll just give you a script. You go and work on the scripts. So I was like, okay, you don't want to know who I am, my company? No, we have no time. We'll talk about that later. So I could tell maybe there were pressures from somewhere, in the government quarters. You guys need to achieve this goal. So I got the brief and I went and I worked on this thing. Guess now who owns the radio station? I mean the recording station.
Yeah,
the only person who I could think of at that time was going back to my dad. But my elder brother had actually started a commercial studio in Westlands. And this was actually now something that he decided now to start recording commercials for agencies. So I went to him and I told him, hey, there's a job here and Suave Media has a job for you. And Suave Media, Suave Media. Suave Media is a company I registered the other day. Okay, fine. So we did the job. Met the deadlines at Suave Media. I was scared about the payment because all I had was a yellow paper called an LSO. The government, when you work with government, you get a local service order or a purchase order. They got that purchase order, the team went, they were so happy with the job that we did. They were happy because of the turnaround. I can't really say the quality was all that. Nevertheless, they had a tool they could go and use. I don't know what they were using it for exactly, but in retrospect, when I think about that first job, it became my winning structure over my entrepreneur life. Get a company that can do the job efficiently in the way that we want it. So rescuing businesses that basically have a need to articulate themselves. They have no idea how to. So now I had to come up with now the whole thing of explain who you are, branding strategy. So now Suave Media became a branding strategy expert. So go to a company that has been there for 50 years, but people really don't know them. They've not visualized themselves properly. They're in business, but they don't really know how they're being perceived in the market. So coming up with what we call a brand strategy. So I started digging in deeper into what that meant. Creating brand strategies, reading books, going for short courses, working with a brand strategy company, aligning myself with them. And how I aligned with them was that I went and positioned myself as I am an agency and we create content. So once you've done the science of understanding what the client, the brand strategy, the brand structure is, or brand architecture at that time, then I come in with the design aspect or the manifestation aspect. So if we say we're a brand that wants to help manufacturers grow from Kenya to Africa, so do you have a website for that? Do you have a brochure for that? Do you have a TV advertisement for that? So that's why I came in.
Yeah. Just a
Supporting
bit of,
agencies.
just to take you back a bit about the starting of the business and having to develop, you said what you kind of got, what did you get from Sandbox?
No Sandbox.
So it was at a great business club. It was just the basic tools of running a business.
But I thought ideally, looking at yourself working in KTN, Citizen, you knew that. So what is this that you did not know that became the relevant tool?
I think the relevant tool is that there's a difference between working in a department and running a business that has different tentacles.
So the holistic aspect.
Yeah, how do you I worked in a marketing department, bringing in the sales. Once the money comes in, how do you manage the money?
That was not your concern.
How do you manage a team? I did manage a team, but what's the HR aspect? How do you draw up contracts? How do you make sure people get their leave? How do you compete with people who are employing and giving everybody good medical insurance, car allowances and all that? How do you work with the taxman? How do you file for your taxes? How do you separate your expenses from the business expenses? How do you separate liability from being a director, employee, director, employee? How do you set up a board, advisory board, or paid up, or a director board?
All this was being taught in GBC.
Yes, all this was being taught there. I think it was like a toolkit kind of course, just to equip you with enough tentacles for that. But no one teaches us about these things. So I thank Joram for that that course, because even for the businesses that are family run, where I had come from, it's an assumption that those things are there.
But 2 years later, you are here back. So
2 years later, yes. So I worked. So why I came to OMP, yes, thank you. OMP is because I felt like I wanted to go back and just do something. I don't do my master's, by the way. But I was so busy running a business. So at that time, someone just told me, by the way, have you tried owner manager program in Strathmore? You just go to class once, or is it once in 2 months or something like that, and do a module, and you'll meet with other entrepreneurs. So at that time, I was like, I wouldn't mind that. I mean, I would want to engage with other entrepreneurs and just know the problems, the things that they are facing on a daily basis. So I felt like that was actually such a good opportunity to come and hear other voices. So I signed up for it.
At the time, you had run it for 2 years.
At the time I was running my business, I'd run my business for 3 years now.
3 years?
Yeah, about 3 years.
Was there anything specific then that forced you to go? I mean, not forced, I said that led you to go to, or the journey was still very smooth?
So the journey
by then.
So I'd been doing what I knew I was doing at that time, just running business, but I'd been looking for a leap. Like, how do I leap to another level where I don't want to be called an SME for another 4 years. I also want to hit those 100 millions, 500 million, turnovers and all. So I had heard of OMP and the caliber of people who were there in the previous class, and I was like, wow, some of those guys were top 10 medium-sized company awards. There's an award.
It used to be top 100, top 100.
Was it?
Top 100.
KPMG, I don't know.
Yeah, KPMG. I was like, flooring interior. Those guys were here. There was Stoic. I used to hear all these big names. And I'm like, wow, those guys are people who I actually meet. And they, I have one-on-one rapport with them. But I just want to know, how do they make it? So coming to this course now in 2011, I entered a space where I looked all around. We were around 25 people in that class, and I was the youngest. And I was like, okay, so I was probably just maybe 30 or early 30s. And I'm looking at people, I'm like, in their 50s. People are coming, introducing themselves, so-and-so. And last year I won this award, top 100. I ran this business here in Nairobi, another one in Rwanda, another one in this. I'm like, here I am with my soft media in this city, So that intimidated me because I felt like maybe I'm not signed up for the right thing. But there were 2-3 guys who were there who were actually getting into business. They were in transition. There's a guy who had just come out from a very bad employee relationship and was joining a family business that was in shambles. And I was like, when I listened to them, I was like, okay, I'm not that bad. At least I feed my family. I pay myself a salary. At that time, I had some active clients on retainer. There was regular income. I was like, I'm not that bad, surely. So that encouraged me to stick on and just say, okay. Yeah, today they remain my close friends. And some of them are running bigger enterprises than myself. But I stayed at OMP. Very, very interesting class because it's a kind of class where you come in. Yeah, there's a module that is being taught, and most of the class was interactive, and people sharing about their pains, And I remember one guy was so busy, he was in his laptop typing things, and he just stood up and said, hey guys, I am not able to do this anymore, and so. The lecturer at that time asked him, hey, what is the issue? And he says, I have 2 containers stuck in Mombasa. I have not been able to remove them because I'm being asked to pay bribes and I don't have money. I have an order that I need to deliver next week to this client who will only release money once his goods are there. It's someone who was in furniture business. And that there became a live case study. I was like, at that time, I was also importing equipment for my media business and all that, because we used to do now even videos and all that. And I was like, this is a life lesson. And now you could hear someone else saying, that's the issue. Okay, sit down. So the class now became like an accountability forum where we were resolving our issues on real time. And I was like, that was actually a very interesting class to be in. I would say it was more or less life schooling than being in a class. It was life schooling. So, yeah, kudos to OMP.
Fast forward, maybe 5, 6, 7 years later, since you started. How was it going? So, after OMP, you've done maybe another 4 years.
So from OMP, I left, started applying the things I'd learned, connected with with other entrepreneurs. The company was growing, so now it was no longer just me and 1 or 2 people. Now personnel grew to a team of almost 20.
Which year is this?
This is now 2012 to 2015 thereabout.
Okay. You grew to 20.
Yeah.
But what is it that you?
So what happened was that we just grew in terms of the clients that we were handling. And so in advertising business, you have, when a client comes in, we convert that to an account. So that account has a designer,
and a manager.
Manager, an account director. So that account probably demand 3-4 people. So if I had like 10 accounts at that time, then it means that we really needed to actually improve and increase our staff.
I'm imagining you had competition. Ogilvy.
Yeah, I mean, Ogilvy's were our competition, though somewhat we were also partnering with them. Because at some point I cut out myself as a producer of TV and commercials and documentaries. So we had a band and more experience around that. So it was a hybrid agency. So the Ogilvies, the Scanards, we were listed with them as a producer. So they used to call us to help them produce. We also had equipment that was also being used by cinematographers and all that. So I knew that we would never be Ogilvy. We would never get the Safaricom accounts, the international accounts yet. Okay? Because my focus was on local manufacturing companies with a regional presence.
So you had already decided that's your niche?
I decided that was my niche.
So I'm going to work with manufacturing?
Correct.
Local?
Yes. And that niche got refined when I left OMP, and I also did one or two other courses just about finding your voice in the market. So there's a lot of noise. Like in advertising, everybody and anybody can claim to be an advertising agency, but that had to stop at that time. So I refined my purpose, then deepened the focus, and we were solely looking at local manufacturing, FMCG companies.
So this is 2015, you're around 20 people. And then 15 to 20, 2015 to 2020?
To 2020 now.
Just before COVID. Then after the break,
yes.
we'll talk after.
That was a disruption, yeah.
Those 5 years.
So we still maintained until we said now dwindling down based on many factors which we can talk about.
The next session. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, this is SME Unleashed. My name is Dr. Edwin Obonyo from SCVI.
And Raymond Mutura from Croft. And with our guests,
Kelvin Kanyotu.
Triple K. Oh, he said he's now called Kanyotu.
Triple K.
Yeah. Welcome back after the short break. This is SME Unleashed. My name is Dr. Edwin Obonyo from SCVI.
And Raymond Mutura from Croft.
And our guest.
I'm Kelvin Kanyotu from Tanuri Agency.
From
Tanuri Agencies.
No, but I thought you were Suave.
No, relax.
Okay. Yeah.
That was intentional.
So tell us all these connections between Suave and
Tanuri
others.
Agencies. No, Tanuri Agency.
Tanuri Agency
others.
first. Okay.
So we left the previous session calibrating. I mean, mapping where we are at. So now we are now moving from 2015 to 2020, so 5 years.
Yeah.
What was happening there? Because I think you said things started changing.
Yes. So in 2015, I felt the burden to kind of refine and kind of deculture how we had been doing business for a while. And that came, or rather the source of that was when I looked at, one day I went to the bank and there was an issue with some payment that had been mismatched. When I went to the bank, I found that the same bank had a company called Suave Limited, Suave Technologies.
This was a transport one, I think.
Yeah. And then Suave Media, which is myself. And I was like, okay, there's this name. The people really love this name. And I went to the bank manager and I was like, there's some funds we received, but I can't see them reflected. And they're like, oh, okay. So they did an investigation and they found that it was actually put in another account. I was like, that is such a rare problem. I've never had the account numbers are different. But that was an eye-opener for me. So everybody had just been having a hard issue asking, who is this Suave International? Is it Suave Media? Is it Suave? There's another Suave Media somewhere in Australia. There's another Suave Media in UK. So I got the burden to actually rebrand. But rebranding is not renaming. I think people often confuse, you want to change your name, and they call that rebranding. Because a brand is about a culture. A brand is about how people feel about that business. A brand is about what people say about that business. So we had been doing, we've been focusing on manufacturing companies, helping them, create messages for their different touch points through TV, through radio, through billboards, through websites. And 2015 is when now we had started hearing this narrative about digital. The Facebooks were there. The Twitters were there at that time, now X. And we felt like we needed to start transforming how we're handling business to where people are consuming content. And we formed or rebranded from Swab to Tanuri. Tanuri is Swahili for a furnace.
This is 2015, 2016.
Oh, okay. Tanuri is Swahili for a furnace.
So for a what? For a
furnace, yeah. A furnace. Like
furnace.
A blacksmith.
Furnace.
Furnace.
Sinajua, nilikuwa tunajaribu kusikia pronunciation.
Ni furnace. So Tanuri. People would say it's a fireplace also. So that name came, why? Because we had been through the fire, but we also wanted to help
through the fire.
Yeah, but also we wanted to help clients who had been through the fire articulate themselves.
Me in my head, I thought you wanted to be a blacksmith.
Yes, so that is actually where it came from. So my position now is chief production smith.
Now,
in the company, yes.
2025.
Yes.
Then you are not chief production smith.
Even then it was.
So
we had this narrative where we were blacksmiths,
yes,
and we're helping. You're right, Doctor, you're a sharp man.
So that's coming.
Yeah, so forging, helping people articulate themselves, brands that are evolving, shaping them up. So we came up with that Tanuri.
Yeah.
And then just Tanuri Limited was already there, so we came up with Tanuri Agency. Which we rebranded, but now with an additional service of digital. So that was 2015, it was quite early. And I would say that was a time where there were buzzwords that were coming up. Digital advertising, there's a digital TV, there's a transformation. But Kenya in itself took a while. Corporates, many of them still believe in traditional marketing. They believed that if you want to launch a new product, if you're not on TV, you've not launched. If you're not on a billboard, you've not launched. If you're not on a morning show, breakfast show like this one,
you've not
on
launched.
Radio, you've not launched. So that took a while until around 2019, 2020, when now there was a disruptor. And I feel like the birth and the acceleration of digital media started in COVID time. For Kenya. For Kenya. I feel like that is the time.
It was accelerated.
Yeah. Because right now, this is a time, 2019, 2020, where most people were depending on stations to voice their business. But now that was the birth of when you have someone talking about COVID. How do you avoid COVID? How do you avoid this and this and that? So people are stuck at home. They're not able to go out. The TV stations are streaming, and our CS and his counterparts, they are coming every day giving reports. And during the day, people have already had those reports. They've already logged into a website that was giving them the numbers of the infections faster than the media houses. You get? So the acceleration of how people were receiving information from people, even an individual. Someone will have a podcast like this and say, by the way, this is how you need to prevent COVID, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. Other people are saying, no, in your boredom at home, since you can't go out, people start teaching others how to crochet. Stay-at-home moms are teaching each other how to homeschool your children. Children are not going to school. And the advent of channels and sub-channels and influencers started
And kitchen food. Last week we had a guest from Central Kitchen.
No, Cloud Kitchen.
The Cloud Kitchen.
Cloud Chicken. Oh, kitchen.
Central Kitchen.
Cloud. Oh, they cook remotely.
You cook remotely and deliver.
So
That's
they
a
cook,
nice name, eh?
they cook in the house. They don't have they have a name, brand name.
But they cook in the house.
So when you just call,
Yeah.
they just cook and deliver to you.
They deliver. That's a fantastic business.
That also happened. While
It also
others
happened
were
a lot.
crocheting, others were doing
Yeah,
cloud
yeah.
kitchens.
and that was now for me the birth or the
So that time,
Yeah.
Tanuri was doing better? Or?
Tandoori now at this
Because of
time
the
we
change?
had clients. We are still operating with the clients and getting new clients. But the hard work was convincing the current clients that guys, the ship has sailed. We no longer need to run into this expensive media campaigns and houses. We used to do a lot of media buying. Do you know what media buying is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when a client has a budget of 50 million, they say, give us a media plan, and we want to be in radio, we want to be in vernacular radio, we want to be in newspapers, TV, and we want to be in a billboard. So we used to do that for them, one of the services, and including creating the messages. But that, at some point, was not making sense because you're spending this money and there are no results. Why? Because the ship has sailed.
And when you say no results, who was measuring the metrics? You or them?
So it was them, because remember in 2008, 2009, you'd put an advert in the newspaper or TV, and the client would tell you, oh, yeah, we said advertising, and there was an influx of sales. There was an immediate response. Why? Because people's behavior was attuned to this programming culture or lifestyle. I wake up in the morning, there's that clock of advertising. When you wake up in the morning, we used to have a clock. So Maina Kageni and Kingangi would talk about a breakfast brand, Blue Band, or a bread or milk brand. That's the best time to hammer that message. Yeah, and then at lunchtime, you talk about the pizza inns and all these other people. Somewhere along the day, you talk about accidents, insurance companies are coming in there. So there's a media clock that people were used to. Yeah, and the advertisers were used to saying, for sure, if I put my advert Monday morning or Tuesday morning, where they are, let's say another, let me pick an easy industry like auction. I'm sure when you go to the newspaper some days, you'll find 4 pages of auctioneer.
Yeah.
If I put my auctioneer says, if I put my list there on Tuesday, everybody knows Tuesday, newspaper, a nation, 4 pages, we have auctioneer adverts.
And it translated.
Oh, it translated. It converted.
Converted.
Yeah. So the disruption came in where people were no longer loyal to a program, to a station. People now are loyal to voices of influence. That's why today we call them
influencers.
So this is 2020.
This is now from 2020 now.
Okay.
Now
So-
COVID has come, COVID has gone. COVID has disrupted business.
Wait, but we still have ads nowadays. I mean,
Oh yeah, there are ads there, but now of course the spends now have skewed. They're more digital. They're more experiential. People will choose to go into a supermarket and do an experience for you. People will choose to hire an influencer to advertise for them. People will choose to be on Google, on YouTube, on Nation FM
this is
website.
interesting. So you're saying right now, 2025, as I watch TV before news, I'll see an ad. But
You'll
you're
see
saying
an ad.
they've reduced.
Oh, you'll see an ad.
Yes, I'll see an ad. But you're saying
But many
media buying you're referring
stations
to.
are many radio stations have closed.
yeah.
Many TV stations, the ones that were in the, and there's something else I've not even talked about. The Pangs, Signet, there's the digital stations. Where there are over 200 TV stations. They're all struggling in the digital box. They're all struggling. The only TV station right now that is profitable is Citizen TV. Nation, have you been following Nation?
Yeah.
The accounts, they are published and it's a listed company.
It's a listed company, yes. Same to Standard.
Both of them,
Yeah.
they reported losses. Standard Group, the employees who are taking them to court,
Yeah.
not being paid for over 1 year.
They were not.
So this conversation started with media practitioners in 2015 that we need to harness the digital era faster, including the advertisers themselves. But it's been a slow transition. And
So were you
now-
caught or you managed to survive?
I was caught into this as well because around 2021, even until to date, so there are different transitions that have been happening. So all of a sudden, advertisers feel like we don't need to really, if digital is the way to go, and we may not need an agency. We can develop our own internal
We can do it
agencies.
in-house.
We can do it in-house. So there was now that shake-up where everybody was saying, oh, as guys, we transitioned, we have our own team in-house. So an advertiser says, oh, you guys did that. Okay, even us, I think next year we should budget for that. So the advertising industry got shaken up. And things said now going down where you find spends were less. So we lost a couple of clients. But the good thing is that we had an opportunity now to market beyond Kenya, because the work that we would do here now at Facebook at that time was the big thing, right now Meta and Instagram, creating content. We started now creating content, converted all our clients and told them, you guys need to open a Meta accounts, Facebook, Instagram, and we'll be creating. So our retainer still sustained. So maybe one or two clients dropped off. But the beautiful thing is that we also got international clients coming in, because these international clients were saying, okay, the big agencies, it seems like they're okay, but there's a crop of young people here, these young agencies who kind of jump into this bandwagon quickly, because the bigger agencies were still living in the ship. The ship was still docking, telling them, we are leaving. Together with mainstream media houses and the big agencies, they didn't want that disruption to happen that fast. So they got overtaken by younger, agile agencies. Even for me, got overtaken by people who were, at that time, most of us in the business were in our 30s. But you have a young guy who's running an agency by himself and he's 22. He's writing messages, he's doing copy, he's buying Google Media before we could even learn. So at that time, 2020 to around 2022, we started now investing in training, getting young people to come and train our team. How do you place a Google ad? We only know how to place TV ads at that time. How do you place a Facebook ad, an Instagram ad? So I had to do training of my team to be agile and also to adapt to the changing times. Things have changed since then, and right now, the people who run channels are influencers. There are some YouTube shows that you can go to, run by one person. Case in point, Lean Googie. I like giving Lean Googie as an example. Lean Googie is as big as 3-4 TV stations in this country. So the advertisers realized I would rather work with her and place an advert about development or construction or Colgate or whatever it is. She mentions it, there's a captive audience. The metrics on digital media were clearer and were not mystical. Because in the past, we would come and tell the client, advertise on Citizen because they have the numbers. Who's giving us that research? A certain media house that has left media diaries in houses of people as a sample size, telling them, fill in which programs you watch, which adverts have you seen, and then use that small sample size to give the advertiser to use as data. So disruption came in, and right now, Meta, Google, all these guys, TikTok now, I usually had time to talk about TikTok, has disrupted how media reports are done. Because now they are more accurate. It will tell you, I watched an ad for 1 second. 20 people watched an ad for 1 minute. And now we use those metrics and go to the client. These metrics are real people. You can see this is a real person who's followed you. So the trust now moved from the advertising agency practitioners, the media houses, to these influencers and people who are running digital assets.
So now, in 2025, what is Tanuri Agencies doing? I mean, given what you've just shared.
So right now, we had to do another transition.
Okay.
So Tanuri Agency still remains to do what it does. But the beautiful thing is that now we are creating digital assets for our clients.
Digital assets?
Yeah. One good client of ours is Festive Bread.
Yeah.
So Festive Bread, we worked with them, the advertising in the mainstream, they still do. But right now they discovered the people who we are targeting are the mid-20s, the Gen Zs, they're in TikTok, they're on YouTube. So what do? They created a show where people can actually come, tell their stories, be interviewed like the way you're interviewing me over a meal of their products.
Where is this
It's
show?
on YouTube.
So
It's called Feast with Friends. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Tanuri produces that. And we work with numerous influencers and all that. So we're in the era of creating digital assets so that we can help our clients be able to articulate and communicate with their audiences so that they can have loyalty in the products that
I'm curious about that name, digital assets.
Yeah.
What is
by definition?
Yeah.
Any layman listening to the show.
So when you have an asset, a communication asset is like I create a TV advert, it's 30 seconds. I take that asset. It belongs to me. Let's say I'm Safaricom. I have a 30 seconds commercial. I go and advertise with it. When I advertise with it, that's an asset. But now a digital house asset or digital asset means Safaricom has a page, has a channel that they can be able to communicate and advertise by themselves. Without relying on another channel.
Okay. So Feast
that's
with
an
Friends
asset.
is Festive Bread's page.
Yes. So it's a DPL Festive Limited page. Feast with Friends is a brand. It's a digital asset on YouTube and on TikTok. And it's about people coming in. They are asked questions by a host, like yourselves. Shiksha Aurora is a TV47 host and she's a prominent influencer. And then we have artists, actors, influencers coming in, telling their stories of how they began, career and all that.
Okay.
Financial experts, all that over a meal. So it's no longer selling the bread, it's selling stories.
So if I want to promote Strathmore Centre for Value Investing, I can go to that show and talk about finance.
You can come and talk about finance.
You have to connect it to someone's product, the Festive Bread product.
Yeah.
We
have to talk about the financial issues.
No, but
let's talk about the stories.
They talk about the journey of how they become
exactly.
influencers.
Like now, we're starting a new year very soon.
Yes.
I feel like young people need to know how to manage their money, or families need to know how to do budgeting and all that. As an example, I'm telling you, that's a financial story that you're coming, but it's a product that is being run by a bakery.
Yeah, it's good. So now, since he came to mind, we can go to.
Well, but it's not mine.
But I'm curious, where do you see all this going?
Yes, what's the future?
Came from because also we have a number of students doing in this School of Humanities. They do communication.
We're still on.
We're still on.
Yes,
Okay.
Basically, what's the future?
I think for me, so the advent of digital media, the way we consume information, the way we receive information, has been such a beautiful thing, yet also a pain in the neck. Now, let me talk about that dissection there. So in terms of being a beautiful thing, it's that it has allowed people to have a voice and to grow their channels and to grow their audiences rather, and communicate to them directly. So this could be an advertiser, it could be an individual, it could be someone who has a cause, it could be any person who has a voice can build an audience. And they can build a niche audience, a sub-niche audience, a segment, whatever it is. You can be able to attract that audience for yourself. The other detriment about what is happening right now is that now everybody wants to be a producer, a podcaster. Everybody wants to be a voice of influence without having gone through the sweat capital, without putting the work of understanding what are you an authority over. So if today I decide to be a chef, I can go and start cooking and say, every morning I make 4 boiled eggs and this, and I put a camera in front of me and I say, this is a food channel.
A nice sweet camera.
Yeah.
Then I look crisp.
Yeah.
The new iPhone. The new iPhone do it.
Yeah. But almost there are hundreds of other people doing the same thing as what you're doing. So who are we following? And we can't taste that food. We can only see it. So the challenge now is to those people who would want to go into this podcasting and content creation and media area is to do your homework. Before you speak as a motivational speaker, have something to show from experience. Before you start teaching people how to sing, have something to show of what songs you recorded. Before teaching people about finances, have something to show about a course you started that has sign-ups and that you grew that course from this to this. And there are people who have stories to tell about what you taught them about finance. Then I'll listen to you. Because when I see the product of what has come out of your voice or your influence, and when I connect with those products who have been influenced by you, then I know you and I'll follow you.
So Tanuri now wants to do what? What's the future for Tanuri? Based on what
so the future for Tanuri now is we want to be a group of companies. So we're still running the digital content creation space, but we also felt like we need to move into Tanuri Films. That's under a different docket. So Tanuri Films is going to be creating films that are family-centric, that touch on the different things, day-to-day things that normal Kenyans are going through. And my target market is family. Family. So they're producing films for that. Yes.
We need to see how we will unbundle that.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a story for
Yeah,
another day.
very nice.
Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you so much, Triple K, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
This is
Do you remember what Triple K stands for?
Kanyotu.
Kanyotu is one of the Ks. And
That's
the
what he
others?
wants
One
to be
name,
called.
but
No, but you've said Triple K.
It's
But
Kelvin
what the hell?
Kanyotu.
Kanyotu Kamau. Kamau is center. Kamau is yours.
Kamau
or-
is my name.
Is yours. So,
Yes.
yeah, so I
Kanyotu
can
is
see
my
you know how
son.
to name these
Man,
names.
I'm African, bro.
Yeah, but you guys do have center. Yours is based on the weather and I don't know what.
Anyway, we've come to the end of the episode. This is SME Unleashed. My name is Dr. Edwin Obonyo from SCVI.
And this is our last program. So
No, next week is
no, this is the last one.
18th.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
This is Raymond Mutura. Then I'll see you last. Whatever I wanted to say for last, I'll say it next week. Then.
Next week, yes.
And we've had
And we
Kanyotu.
had, yes, okay.
From we
Tanuri.
started with saying you were in
Swav.
Swav,
That's a new agency.
Tanuri
I
agency.
never even talked about the real estate.
No, it's fine.
That's a different thing. Let's
There's
focus on
always-
that.
But very briefly, maybe. Just
No,
say
we've already ended
one
this.
line of what he does with real estate.
One line.
Yeah.
So I create affordable housing. That's a buzzword.
It's a real buzzword.
Peri-urban areas.
The same Lean Google you were
City.
talking about the other day. I listened to her story
Oh, yes.
about it.
Oh man,
She really
crucified
hammered
that.
it.
Oh,
Eh?
man.
Thing. No, but
I agree with some of what she said, but I'll take it to what I said before. Not everybody is.
yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so-
we have to conclude. We'll invite
Okay.
him again.
So real estate next time.
yes.
Next time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Thank
you so
beautiful
much.
one. Yeah, thank you.